it's now about, this application layer of crypto. So it's like people are building more and more functional, applications that just aid with onboarding new users and like actual consumer applications. It's like I'm super excited, for example, about boarding users and just
What's
making
sequence?
applications. Yeah, like making
Sequence is
applications.
what? I'm not really aware of that.
Oh no, Sequence. It's a company called Sequence. They have a whole array of different solutions that they've been building. I'm a massive fan as well of all the releases that Chain have coming out
Ooh.
as well. It's like so there's a ton of innovation solutions left, right, and center. It's enabling us all to build consumer ready applications. So yeah, what is not to look forward to?
Yeah, indeed. I'm really curious about the consumer apps. Can we dive deeper into that? I'm really, really curious because nowadays, finally, in 2025, I believe 2025 is the year where we're seeing these projects and products, specifically products that have been, being built over these years. Now they're being shipped. Finally, they are shipped, and they're starting to be shipped into the mainstream. How is that working? Like right now, is as I'm looking at Sequence, all-in-one development platform for Web3 games. Gabo, should we reach out to Sequence? They look like nice guys.
Man,
Starting.
I
Like it's a all-in-one development platform, basically.
No, it's like they provide a whole array of different solutions,
Yeah,
plug and play
onboard,
solutions.
monetize, grow, and retain your players. Sequence is the leading platform developers use to integrate, Web3 into games. Oh wow! Oh wow!
I mean, if anyone's if anyone's interested in a direct link up with their team, yeah, you can just shoot me a DM, because
Oh, I will
we
for sure.
absolutely they are a really awesome team.
Quick question. Uh, I can. I think I might be able to tell where you're from based on your accent. Can I try? Is that okay?
Go for it. Go for it.
Netherlands.
Ooh, nope.
Is that nah? Fuck. Am I close? Can you?
Uh, you're not far, but you're not close.
Damn hell. Am I? I was like almost 100% sure. Okay, I'll find
Thing
that
is,
out later.
it tends to throw people. I'm actually the accent has kind of pacified a bit.
Oh wow, wow. Scotland, I would have never guessed because I mean, 25 years. 25 years is a lot of time. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Damn. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that notice. Anything we are excited about in 2025? I need some specifics. I need some blockchain tech that is enabling. Okay, Hopscotch, go ahead.
One area that we're looking at really closely is on-chain agents. Obviously, they've been kind of exploding in popularity in a lot of different ways, right? And kind of just quite simply, it's a lot easier, right? And I think on-chain agents is one way that kind of gets us there. But I agree with like a lot of what Wal was saying. It was like we've been living in this age of infrastructure. It seems like forever, right? We need more apps, and I don't think that like new crypto apps finding product market fit is it's obviously one of the hardest things to do in the space. I think it's more likely that we'll see just more existing popular apps integrate crypto in one way or another. But I don't know. That's just the estimate for the future.
Fair enough. That's a good take. Fair enough. What you mentioned on-chain agents. Is there a specific difference? ChatGPT, even right? We have the operator, as they call it. What is the difference between on-chain?
Yeah, so kind of like those off-chain agents are kind of like the models and sites and apps we use today. I'd say on-chain agents actions actually on a blockchain, so that you don't have to be doing that. That's what I see the difference being between a kind of an off-chain and on-chain agent.
Okay, got it. So Griffin AI would be considered an on-chain.
Yeah,
agent.
exactly. Yeah, the model. Where I draw the line, the model and audit, you can transparently look at. You can kind of actually see what it's doing, regardless of maybe what it's saying.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting because You would, I mean, I would assume, I'm not a developer, but I would assume it would lose some sort of efficiency, would compromise in efficiency if we put it entirely on chain.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a correct assumption?
I think for now, I think it is a correct assumption. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. On-chain agents are very, very interesting. I am interested in Griffin AI, as I mentioned as well, because of that specific use case. Like, people don't want to, like, even I don't want to have to, like, how hard bridging is, how difficult bridging is. Like, I have Ethereum on base, and it's insanely difficult to like bridge it and get Solana. How do you even, like, there's no alternative. I couldn't find it on base. Maybe I'm just not crypto native enough. I've been in the space for only 3 years. What do I know? But stuff like this is extremely, which does the trading for you. I would definitely pay extra for that specifically. We are also joined, before I move on to another speaker,
I was a bit late and I was listening to you guys, and I think we have progressed a lot in terms of infra. I remember like when I entered in the space, the gas fee was around $10-15. And now even for bridging, we are paying less than $1, right? So I think very interesting discussion.
Yeah, I remember that. Man, that was terrible. Do you guys remember when the other deeds dropped and how much the gas fees were then? Like, Ethereum was just burned for no reason. I think some people paid like $3,000-4,000 just to mint their other deeds, which went up to a excuse me, Squad. Anything you're excited particularly that's hitting blockchain or vice versa?
Can you repeat that real quick?
What are some things that coming to blockchain you're most excited about?
Man, I'm excited about the adoption, of course, of film, music, and entertainment, and especially with all of the, entertainment aspects coming on on-chain, and especially, in regards to the strategic reserve, coming in regards to a bunch of the United States bills coming in to Congress in regards to strategic reserves, so I feel like that's going to be really huge in regards to technology. I know, from we're based and built off of Solana, but I also, are huge fans of a lot of the different Solana-based projects like Jito, Virtuals, Grass. Those are some of the future good ones in regards on the Solana blockchain. Of course, Vision and Squad. Holler at your boy. But other than that, we're just really excited about everything what everybody else is doing, but right now we're actually live streaming right now on Multistream. This space is right now trying to testing something on YouTube, TikTok, not on X yet. Right now we're just doing some testing, but we sent you guys a message if you guys want to check it out. But we are currently trying to test a new live stream entertainment and do some cool shit as we speak. So that's what we're excited about, fam.
Nice. Cross-platform communication, one of the best things. Speaking of Trump, okay, I'll ask this question later. Trump coin and Melania coin, of all coins, weirdly enough, but we'll see what happens. But definitely, Pudgy Penguins is the game changer in that regard, because I remember reading their thread 2 years ago saying that they haven't even mentioned anything about NFTs or crypto of impressions, and probably billions at this point. Because my sister the other day sent me a GIF with a Pudgy Penguin, and she has no idea that's a Pudgy Penguin, and that's a Web3 thing. But yeah, very excited about to this topic.
Yes. I mean, if you first ask this question, I left in my head because I would I would also mention Trump. So that's what I'm most excited about. But I don't want to be the boring regulatory compliant project guy. But I mean, man, it's a huge thing that we have Trump elected regarding Web3, of course, and also that Gary Gensler has resigned or will resign, and but also in Europe. So we have the MiCA now, and also our project G6 Networks is a regulatory compliant project, and I think there won't be, or at least there will be less and less scams, I think, or I guess, because, for example, when it comes to mica, you cannot even distribute or sell or put your tokens on exchanges and sell it in Europe if you aren't regulatory compliant, and they can ban your website and block everything. Of course, you can still buy it from via VPN, but so these are maybe small things and maybe not so appealing for the regular Web3 community, but for us who's standing on the other side, who's responsible for a project and responsible for the community, I think it's a really good initiatives, and also because we are negotiating, for example, in Hungary with the Hungarian National Bank, we see that day to day they are more and more open, and they are welcoming these projects, ideas, solutions which can be implemented in the citizens' life, registrations and tokenized assets and RWAs. So we see a massive demand and growth in these spaces. So I'm pretty excited. I think regulatory clearness is a well-needed space in the Web3 community. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. Besides the overall tech innovations, of course. I think you're muted.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, I almost stayed muted. My mute button somehow works weirdly. Weird stuff. But yeah, mica is, I'm actually reading up right now. Is it a security thing? It's mainly a security thing, right?
It differentiates security, utility tokens, and e-cash or e-money. So there's really get ranked in these three categories. So there's a certain structure which you need to provide or present your white paper. For example, our white paper is also a really unusual white paper because you see in the first, I don't know, 4 and also statements from the project which are must highlight that should be visible on the first page, and also there are a bunch of other stuff which you need to put into your white paper, which can be a little bit frightening, and as I mentioned, not appealing for the community as well, because these laws or these regulations are defending you as well, so not just the project but you as a community or as a stakeholder or token holder. So that's
oh wow, it also says that like fewer service providers with fewer than 15 million active users in Europe would not be considered significant under MiCA, so would be supervised by national EU authorities rather than the EU banking authority.
Yeah, I mean it's in the early stages, but yes, so previously existed projects needs to be MiCA compliant as well, and most of them probably will end up defining them as a security, which is a little bit more how do they say it, expensive for the project, and yeah, so there are some constraints, of course, but in the end it will be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I love that Europe is taking it very seriously, and in the manner of like they're protecting the people that are in EU. It's crazy, and the only way we can actually make it into a legitimate industry is through smart regulations that make sense.
Yes,
yeah, go ahead, Gilbert.
Yeah, and because we are in the early stages, it's really important to also notice this that they are at the moment they are open. They also so it's not like that we are the bad old government and we will screw you and we will demolish your up to the economy and also the overall GDP. So that's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of win-wins, Trump recently says that US will be the world capital of crypto. What does this mean for us? Metacraft, what does this mean for us and how should we prepare, most importantly?
I was reading recent updates in US politics, and I think they're trying to implement something what Dubai is doing, like tax-free nation structure. So something similar Trump also mentioned while his speech last few days, and I think that could be one of the best thing for their economy as well. But it depends how it shapes up because recently I think Trump fired a couple of guys from Doge, right? So it's still very speculative how he wants to take it ahead. But definitely, I think Trump is pro crypto. There will be better or smoother processing as well as legal structure for crypto companies to enter in the US economy. But how he wants to take this, that's something still uncertain, and a lot of I think we need to wait for next 2 to 3 months before we get some clarity.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this pans out. How should we prepare? Wolf, is there any kind of how should we in Europe prepare?
Well, I mean, I'm based in Europe myself, and it's like I'm not a huge fan of European Union level regulations. Never have been. Like they're dinosaurs. They don't move at the speed of the like Asia and like now the States. My fear is that the amount of bloat that the European Union has will potentially hinder any actual positive advancements in regulation. But as far as how we should prepare, I mean, if you're running a company, if you're setting up a company, just always be on the lookout for new areas worldwide that are, accepting, let's say, blockchain technology and Web3 in general positively, and just look to, if you haven't set up yet, look at where the best option may be for your target audience or like potential investors. And just keep on top of the news because everything moves so quickly. Overnight positive stuff happens and overnight negative stuff can happen. So like you have to be on your toes at all times. So yeah, it's how do we prepare? Just being aware. Just don't. I mean, we're in a market right now where it's as a founder, it is borderline impossible to sleep. Like things just change so quickly. So yeah, just keep your eyes open. Make sure you're on top of all the news. If you're leveraging AI, to actually give you summaries of the latest news, like I found that to be a beautiful trick for the morning. Whilst preparing the first coffee, just getting that readout of all the latest stuff that's happening in the market.
How do you do that with which tools?
It's just been a friend of mine sent me over through. Basically through Claude. It's like he's got his own one built based on Claude, and we just kind of, it has a load of different sort of news outlets and like all the different links and everything. So on a daily basis, it just creates a summary, and I can just hit play, and I can be listening to that whilst I'm just making my first coffee in the morning.
To you already regarding the what was the sequence partnership? But like, can I buy that shit, please?
It's not even purchasable. Like this is something that he's running on his internal server.
I'm willing to transfer USDT every month. That's fine, as long as
it leaves. And actually, with DeepSeek now, because it does have internet access, like full-on internet access, you can actually just tell it to give you a breakdown of like the daily happenings in like Web3 or recent updates, policy updates. You can get all the news. Yeah. Just talk to the AI agents and use them for the good that they do bring.
Yeah, if I can get my ass to register on DeepSeek because they have limited the registrations recently. Which let me ask, do you recommend any specific news outlets specifically? Because I keep reading the ones that have gone. Well, I was reading some and some of them died. Literally just went bankrupt. Excuse me. Now it's like NFT Now is the regular one that I often go to.
I don't have any major ones that I particularly follow, so it's mostly whatever's on my like Google feed from, let's say, business related ones, the gaming industry site as well. Everything that we're building, so trying to get as much information on a daily basis there. There's a couple of AI agents on Twitter as well that do great sort of daily summaries. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but there are some really good ones. And as far as sort of Web3 article sites, I mean, yeah, you've got to take a lot of the information that you can get on those with a pinch of salt. It's difficult to filter through the bullshit and get the verifiable information. You just have to kind of compile the kind of sites that you like, really, like the kind of information that you want, and then go from there.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, really difficult to find some nice, some trustworthy websites right now. It's very, very difficult. I used to read a lot of NFT type of news, but now it's gone, and now NFTs are not really important anymore, at least as its own industry. However, I did write a master's thesis in sociology about NFT and art collection, which are still relevant in my opinion. Also, ETH recently deployed 50K of ETH to DeFi. So interesting move there. Squad, anything you would like to add on the preparation side? How should we prepare for the Trump, promising that US will become, oh no, Squad just jumped in the listeners as soon as I called on them. Hopefully we'll get them back. Hopscotch, anything you'd like to contribute to the current subject?
Yeah, I was trying to think about this a bit, and I was like, all right, world capital of crypto. What the hell does that mean, right? World capital finance. I'm thinking like New York City, London, Singapore. What are the advantages of being kind of a world capital of, say, crypto? You get to put yourself into the flow of funds, kind of like when you buy something on eBay, that money's going through PayPal, right? PayPal gets the cut. Same type of thing with a nation state and having just like crypto capital located in it. And I was trying to think, all right, what is that good for? Does that mean I get good banking? Does that mean I can launch a token without kind of like getting destroyed by the government? Does that mean the government isn't going after the largest players and the most compliant players that might be located in that country? Probably all of the above. And I was trying to think of, all right, what are those places now? What is the capital of crypto considered now? Is that Hong Kong, Dubai, Portugal? I don't know. What other countries have you found to be really favorable to crypto?
Yeah, I don't really know what that means. Like, it's always very vague with them. So, and I'm improving as much as I can. This stuff is crazy. Okay, I hope we're gonna get Squad. We should be able to get them really soon. Gabo, what do you think? What do you make of this? What do you think Trump means?
It's a really, really tough question. I mean, he says some pretty insane shit all the time, so you do not know what to expect. I mean, I was pretty surprised and amazed that he kept his word. He signed a lot of I don't know the English word, but these in his first
executive orders. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. So I was pretty amazed by that, and yeah, who knows? But I think I don't want to disappoint anyone, but there are far more bigger problems can fall a little bit behind. But who knows? I mean, maybe he managed to plate spinning all at once, all the 10 different stuff he promised all at once. So So who knows? I mean, but yeah, define or tell the definition of the crypto capital. So yeah, why not El Salvador, where Bitcoin is a legal tender? So
Oh,
so
for
yeah,
sure. That's a great
so
take, by the way.
yeah, so what's the measure? So it's like becoming a currency, or I don't know, like crypto firms established on a yearly basis, or the overall, I don't know, debts for the citizens, or I don't know. So yeah,
Let's ask the Murica man from himself, Squad. I see. I think you're the only one from the US right now on the space. What do you make of this? What do you think Trump means when he says he's going to make the US crypto capital of the world?
In the U.S., baby, holler at your boy. Yes.
Ka ka ka.
um,
Do, 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 do. Yeah, go ahead.
Damn right. Let's go, bro. But yes, no. In regards to Trump in the strategic reserve, in regards to him being pro crypto, pro blockchain, what that does is that gives us the ability as founders and American companies, from and or who are built and developed out here in the United States, the ability to be at the forefront of this industry. And since he is pro crypto, pro blockchain, and with the strategic reserve, what he's doing is trying to hedge, in regards to inflation, say the loss of the dollar, we are able to, put together a strategic reserve. And they were talking about purchasing up to like 200,000 Bitcoin per year of the supply. That's one of the reasons why, as a reserve, we can hedge against inflation. But from a founder developer perspective, it gives us the ability to kind of open up those red tapes, find out exactly what we need to tariffs and, bringing companies into the United States. It gives us the ability to take on blockchain head on and try to be at the forefront while we're representing in a positive light, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. That actually clicked with me right now. In terms of hedging, inflation, that makes total sense. And I think El Salvador, as Gabo mentioned, that's a really, really good example of that. They've been playing the long game with Bitcoin, and finally, I'm really curious. Actually, let me. I got a note down to research El Salvador and their specifically their economy, how they are actually utilizing the Bitcoin, because they have been accumulating quite a lot of Bitcoin. They're very, very pro crypto. But bringing businesses is a really, really nice, very interesting topic of conversation, because like, I keep thinking like, I guess you could say he's bringing back the innovation or the motivation to innovate, because the main thing that's like, China is taking away right now from the US, as you can tell, is this not only the innovation but the decentralized innovation. And one of the biggest things that I love about US is that you are highly decentralized, even if you think you're not, compared to all probably every other country in the world. You are the most decentralized country, politically speaking. The individuality is very and that comes from the Constitution, the political history, and all of that. But that's why you are the United States. Walt, go ahead. I see your hand up.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been, a country for, let's say, dreamers and visionaries, and it's always been super open to innovation, the States. And it's been in pretty much every other industry, eating up and basically just taking in innovators from Europe, because it's like now if Europe doesn't move fast on actually making some nice quick policy changes when it comes to blockchain technology. I mean, we have a humongous sort of like dev resource within Europe they are innovating because like they are essentially having to create new markets for themselves as they essentially like kind of rebuild their countries. So like there's a huge sort of openness there for them to actually develop and create new markets themselves. But if with these policy changes, we could potentially see an even bigger sort of brain drain from Europe heading into the States with these sort of more accepting policies. In the Czech Republic, some of the countries are waking up and they're making it easier for people to set up businesses. But Europe is inherently kind of bad for innovators. It's like if you try to set up a business in most countries in Europe, there's a lot of red tape to go through. There's a lot of difficulties that you have to go through, like the paperwork, the bureaucracy behind everything, the cost involved of running your own company in most countries in Europe is pretty astronomical. So I'm glad to see this spread worldwide off the back of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, having lived in most European countries, I know what you're talking about. The bureaucracy is crazy, especially in not only in crypto but in regular business as well. In EU, there's a huge bureaucratic problem, like with banking. You order a card and it arrives in 2 weeks. Even in Eastern Europe, especially in some Asian countries, it's much easier. The banking system is set up in a better way or faster or more efficient way. I don't know how it works in US, but that's definitely true what you said, Wol. Thank you for that take. Also, Elon himself has said, I've heard that before years ago, that the only way to right now US is beating China in terms of economy, but it's not long before China can overtake this number one position. The only way, as Elon says, the only way we can beat China towards that direction. So that's for sure good. Okay, moving back to Gabriel. Gabriel, I want to ask you: are there any? So how should we educate people, and how much should we actually educate to this mass adoption? Like, how much should the regular customer know about crypto or blockchain? How much should they know, and how much should they have just trust? For example, there's the decentralized ecosystems. That's a trust thing, right? We know, and therefore we believe the decentralized systems, right? That they're very secure as long as you don't click any links, and as long as you don't authorize some weird payments. We know that. However, crypto has this big bad reputation going for it, or against it, rather. So how should we approach this subject?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that was a really, really long question, but I tried to. Yeah. No worries. No worries. There's always a debate, and you probably heard from me saying this all the time, that so it should it should work like the internet or the existing email systems works, that regular Web2 people can use it, can wrap their head around it, can send an email, but they really don't care or bother how the internet exactly works and different other components. I think blockchain mass adoption should reach to the same thing, that you do not even want to know that you're using blockchain technology. You do not even want to mess with private keys. So there would be or should be some kind of single signing authorization, or even combined with the biometric, like fingerprint kind of login. You can see nowadays that a couple of wallets, for example, the Shui wallet is also, allows you that you can attach your Google Mail to it, and you do not need to handle, seed phrases and stuff like that. I haven't looked in at what exactly is going on in the background. Is it decentralized or not? But it's it's probably a good thing because, you know, if you lose your password or something like that, your Google password, you can still retrieve your. Not normally, if you lose your seed phrases, then your wallet is gone, or your funds in it. So that's one thing. So, and also you talked about bridges and you know, swapping and different networks and stuff like that. So it's really complicated. So my experience is that the average user is familiar with exchanges, like central exchanges, and that's a good thing. But anything below that, for example, decentralized exchanges, they're lost. So they are totally lost. So I think that's the level for the average user. So we need to simplify this as well. And to reach and educate people, for example, so my co-founder and I were Polkadot ambassadors, and we did a lot of Polkadot meetups all around the world, and some of our friends still do this, and it's a pretty good way to spark interest and curiosity. For example, in Hungary, there's every month a Polkadot meetup with different teams and with different challenges. It's pretty good, actually, especially in a small country in Hungary. So I think meetups and big conferences and make possible that to these big Web3 conferences, the everyday user or the average user can also the registration process can be, you know, make it more easy to access, and so these kind of things. So yeah, education with small steps, and then you can scale it up. For example, some of our friends did educational lessons in Indonesia. One of our partners, Mandala Chain, did educational lessons to government officials, but that was like, you know, a course of like a couple of months. So it takes like a lot of time to help these individuals and these government officials to, you know, explain what is blockchain, what is good for, what blockchain is good for, what is a wallet, how you can utilize a wallet. So that takes time. But you need to tell, even in your small community, your family, your friends, if you have the time, grab a beer and explain, okay, here's a wallet, this is why it's good, this is why it's apparently or at the moment bad or can be improved, and also tell about them the bad things as well, because it's the technology is not that advanced there and not there yet longer than you grab a beer from the fridge, for example, certain swaps, or it's more expensive. But you can laugh about it, but still you can also, you know, overall. So that's my suggestion and way to approach it. So yeah.
Yeah, one thing is, you know, explaining and while also explaining, you gotta somehow show them that there is a better way experientially. I mean, be it, I don't know, making them experience it, you know, showing a better way, like that's why what Wall said, I believe it was Wall, if it wasn't, I apologize, but someone said that, you know, finally we're seeing the products that are actually making sense in the market being shipped, and we have like products that make it apparent why blockchain is interesting and why blockchain is actually necessary. One thing is, like, what about Face ID, guys? I use my Phantom with Face ID when I'm on the phone. Do you like? Do you really need anything else than a Face ID? Like,
I mean, biometrics have their kind of, like, there's positives and negatives around them. I mean, it depends. If you, like, for people that are very, let's say, out there with what they're doing and can essentially put a target on their backs through social media, because, you know, a lot of people, there's a lot of young people that, you know, do a lot of stupid stuff, and the moment they make you know, a little bit of money in Web3, you know, they start bragging about it, and automatically, you know, depending on the area you're in, you can end up with a target on your back. And having biometric access be the primary way of accessing your wallet, I think, is a massive security issue.
Well, yeah, for those reasons, I do understand that. Yes, indeed. When you're somebody like a regular guy, that would be.
Oh no, absolutely. It makes it easier. It makes it easier. And, when it comes to, how do you educate your users? I mean, it kind of comes down to what level of application you're building. So, for example, with what we're building, the Web3 layer is like it's borderline an afterthought. It's a value add. So there's assets that you can earn, there's tokens that you can earn. And what we're doing is implementing little sort of info boxes, as a guide for like when they first the wallet that is generated, which is a non-custodial wallet in the background. And like I've done this with like basically every company that I've worked with, so that at each stage where they need to learn something, or that you can provide information around, the security risks involved, what to look out for, you can make that as part of almost like a tutorial flow when people are in.
Also gamified, which is another layer of very cool utilization of new tools and new strategies. I would say I was recently watching that cat meme, and that cat meme is used into education now, and that is the funniest thing, but also very cool in terms of like getting people to understand how things work in the world. So explaining and dumbing down different concepts through memes and different ways, especially gamification, is the way to go. That is for sure. Hopscotch, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to add, like, in terms of the topic of education, I might take the other side of it. Is like it can't come fast enough. Like, it's not exciting. It doesn't get me in the door. It's not the hook when I download an application. I'm not downloading it to learn, right? I'm downloading. It's like clearly number one is meme coins. Probably through the Moonshot app, right? And you can trade cheaply. You can move stuff around. You can get started with $1, right? It's really, really accessible. But the problem with kind of like just staying in meme coins is that you don't want to make it your kind of like full portfolio, and certainly please don't make it your whole personality, right? Because I've seen so many people kind of just like lose everything and never come back to the space, right? It really being a negative experience rather than a fun and positive one at the time, right? And so when you guys were talking about how do you build trust on chain, like at least for us, we see it starts with fighting fraud, meaning there's so much fraud on chain that happens right now. There's 10 rug pulls a day, right? That we're just have now become accustomed to. We really need to kind of ingrain an idea of like identity and reputation so that we can build kind of a consistent, transparent, and secure, network that we can all be comfortable with. And then we scale it up, right? And that's when I was like, that's just what I was thinking about when you guys were talking about education and trust on chain.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree.
I'm pretty sure there's way more than 10 rugs a day happening. considering Pump Fund launches like how many thousand tokens? There's plenty more than 10. 10 is a very positive number.
Jesus Christ! I mean, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, definitely. Well, and I 1000% agree with you, Hopscotch, there when you spoke about the reasoning behind why we download apps. Hamster Combat is one of the biggest examples for that. It's the biggest example because people downloaded it to make money. There was the step-in, if you guys remember, that would pay you money for walking. All of that was free money, and that was the reason why people were downloading it. I wonder how we can tackle that issue and how we can change that in the future. That's what we're going to talk about next week. Tune in, everyone, every Wednesday, 2 p.m. UTC. We are here at G6 Networks. We're talking, and definitely